wasn't that a strong kick? It took me almost 100 tries to perfect it. When you kick a ball, it rolls or flies away. But is there a way in which you can make it go further? Yes, you can make it go farther if you kick the ball with more force. Force is just one of the science concepts that makes up the entirety of sports. Today, I, Rangesh Vel, am here to give my talk on the significance of outdoor sports, on the emotional and physical well being of students and adults. This idea popped up in my mind when I recall this incident. One day, I had just gotten back from a tiring session of football coaching and had my football in hand. The ball slipped from my hand and rolled towards my grandfather, who was sitting on the sofa. I walked quickly towards him to pick it up, but to my surprise, my grandfather kicked the ball back, and in no time it was in my hands. My grandfather seemed very happy. I asked him why he was so happy. He said this reminded him of the incident in which how he used to play outdoors with his friends. Not only that, but he went on to say that children of this generation were not flexible at all. School going children did not take part in any activity that enhanced them physically. Initially, I took this as an everyday advice that I get from him. But this, it made me ponder. I thought to myself, will I be able to give such a kick when I am in my 80s? Well, before even asking, I know well I won't. It's true, we live in an era which is dominated by technology. While technology has many benefits, it also tends to pull us away from the physical world. Today, teenagers are spending more time with devices than with balls, bats, or rackets. This isn't just a local issue, it's global. The reduced emphasis on outdoor sports is affecting them both mentally and physically. This lack of physical sports has led to rising concerns about pressing issues such as childhood obesity and poor mental health. In childhood obesity, it is found out that the lack of outdoor sports was directly linked to rising childhood obesity rates. It is surprising to find that few children do not even like to play during physical education periods at school. Physical activities such as running, jumping, and playing help burn calories to promote a healthier body weight. It's high time that we realize the need to stretch ourselves physically. In poor mental health is an area in which physical activity usually has a huge impact on. Playing helps release endorphins. Endorphins are hormones which help reduce pain, relieve stress, and improve your overall sense of well being. A study conducted worldwide finds that physically inactive children are more likely to face issues such as depression and low self esteem. Now, all of you would have understood why I wanted to talk about outdoor sports. Let me share another incident. It was a boring hour at school. It was my physics period. We were learning about various kinds of forces. I realized that it was my usual time to sleep. But then, the entire universe stopped when my physics teacher told us that we were all going to the ground. The whole class started screaming out of joy that we're all going to get an extra PE period. After reaching the ground, we were all stupefied when the teacher said the word force. All my plans were totally shattered. But then, my teacher put down a ball and asked the person to strike it. My friend volunteered and struck the ball. It didn't go very far. My teacher then told him to change his foot position and strike the lower half of the ball to change its trajectory. He then explained Newton's second law of motion. Force equals mass times acceleration, showing that increasing force increased both speed over a certain period of time. This incident revealed to me how concepts such as force, momentum, and angles played a crucial role in improving sports performance. To examine this and the importance of outdoor sports among students and adults, I conducted a survey and have received more than 500 responses. 56% who had taken part in the survey had participated in outdoor sports. Out of the other 44%, more than 53% couldn't participate because of a lack of time. Many people ask, how can I make time for sports when I'm so busy already? The truth is, with a little bit of organization and prioritization, it's possible. Setting aside 30 minutes a day for exercise is not hard. A study conducted worldwide finds that an average human being spends 1 hour and 42 minutes in the washroom daily. Now, what I'm trying to say by giving this data is that we have a lot of time that we're not utilizing to the fullest. My father makes time to go cycling every weekend amidst his busy schedule. With the availability of modern solutions, are we still going to give reasons? Moving on. When questioned if sports had helped your emotional well being, more than 86% of people had agreed that sports do improve their emotional well being. Imagine these two scenarios: a math period being borrowed by a PE teacher and a PE period being borrowed by a math teacher. Hope I made it really easy for you to understand how sports balances your emotion. When questioned on the scale of 1 to 5 if sports had helped you manage your stress and anxiety, more than 40% answered on the scale of 5 and 30% answered on the scale of 4, agreeing that sports helps manage your stress or anxiety. During exams, I myself feel stressed if I can manage myself after a tiring session of coaching. But the truth is that once I get onto the field, you would be surprised to know the ecstatic experience I feel where I only think about football and nothing else. I still get good marks in all my exams. When asked if sports had helped build self confidence, more than 90% had agreed that sports help you build your self confidence. In school, we have life skill classes where we're taught different values. One day, the facilitator put us in pairs and asked us to exchange our talents. After I was done talking about my love for sports, my pair started talking about his interest in football. The way he delivered was with full confidence. This showed me that sports had definitely built his self confidence. When asked if sports had helped strengthen relationships and bonds, more than 35% answered on the scale of 5 and 30% answered on the scale of 4, agreeing that sports builds your relationships and bonds. I go for several tournaments. Do you think I come back home with a number of trophies? Definitely no. But I do come back home with a lot of phone numbers. Yes, it's all about team building. I love the practice of shaking hands with your opponents after the match. It's such a nice gesture that lets you be happy no matter who won or who lost. When asked if sports had helped cope up with personal challenges, more than 75% of people agree that sports help you cope with personal challenges. I have many of my friends who have numerous issues at home, but once they get onto the field, the only thing in their minds is the game. When asked if sports had helped improve your physical health, more than 90% of people have agreed that sports build your physical health. And sports do improve your physical health. Playing sports engages various muscle groups throughout your body. For example, playing football engages your legs, your core, and your hips, whereas sports such as tennis and swimming focus more on your upper body. The heart muscle also strengthens through cardiovascular exercise, improving your endurance. Overall, sports provide a balanced workout for your entire body. I would like to explain this further by stating Darwin's theory of use and disuse. His theory explains that any characteristic of yourself which you keep using will keep getting better with evolution. At the same time, any characteristic of yourself which you keep neglecting will keep getting worse with evolution. For example, a population of giant tortoises was found to have longer necks. This was then found out that it is more advantageous for them to have longer necks because they could feed on leaves which are out of their reach. This shows that the giant tortoises kept trying to get the leaves, and since with time their necks had become longer. Moving on. When questioned on the scale of 1 to 5 if sports had helped build a sense of community or belonging, more than 30% answered on the scale of 5 and 30% answered on the scale of 4, agreeing that sports builds your belongingness. The feeling I get while watching a CSK match is irreplaceable. I'm sure you would have felt that too. That feeling that keeps you on your toes till the last second. This is what sports does. They bring you together as a team, as a class, as a school, and it'll be really good if we come out together as one nation. When asked if sports change your perception on physical fitness, more than 47% answered on the scale of 5 and 27% answered on the scale of 4, agreeing that they have started working on themselves after starting to play sports. Hopefully, after this talk, many of you are going to run to the gyms to enroll yourselves. By the end of the survey, it's very clear that sports are important to build a person both mentally and physically. Through this, I also realized the need to design your own rule to being a disciplined sportsman. The main aim of playing any sport is to win. Now, winning in any context brings us joy. You'd be surprised to know if I say even losing brings you joy. This is what sportsmanship teaches you, playing not for winning, but for gaining. You might ask, gaining what? Friendship, focus, coordination, and team building. I go for several football matches where I sometimes win or sometimes lose. But the memories I carry from these matches are created by the experiences and the people I met and not by the trophies I carried home. So now you know it. My rule to being a disciplined sportsman is playing not for winning but for gaining. It might be tricky to understand, so let me explain further. In 1936, it was a time when the blacks were not treated well during Nazi rule. Jess Owens, a black American, was taking part in the Olympics at Berlin. A fellow competitor, white man Luz Long, gave Jess Owens a valuable piece of advice. He told him to disregard the racist attitude that was prevailing in the air. Luz Long went on to win silver and Jess Owens won gold. See, who said losing doesn't make you happy? Luz Long was then the first person to congratulate Jess Owens. Being a disciplined sportsman is not very easy. So that's why I'm here to give you the secret recipe to becoming one. Do you want to know what the first ingredient is? Don't worry, I'll tell you. Imagine a football player dribbling the ball through a line of defenders. To get past them, he has to quickly cut left and right while maintaining control of the ball. This movement, while staying balanced to get past the defenders, is a show of agility. So now you know it. The first ingredient is agility. Not always can a tortoise win the race because in this fast going world, there are no hares who are ready to sleep on the way. Moving on to the second ingredient. Imagine that there's an earthquake here right now. What will any of you do? Will any of you wait for me to finish my talk? Definitely no. But this is what the second ingredient is. Your immediate reaction, spontaneity. In tennis, when a player faces a fast serve, they have only a fraction of a second to determine where the ball is going and react by positioning their racket. Moving on to the third ingredient, I would like to state an incident that happened earlier this year. A tournament which I visited earlier this year, my team found itself in the semi-final stage. In the first half of the semi-final match, my team was 2-0 down. When the second half started, then opponent made a mistake which awarded us a corner. The ball was passed from the corner to our striker, who then brilliantly faked an opponent and passed it to our defender, who then smashed the ball with full power into the bottom right corner, scoring from the half-court line. This was a show of teamwork and trust between the defender and the striker. This also shows that football is not a one-man show. It's not I win, it's we win. And we went on to win that match. As Michael Jordan once said, talent wins games, but teamwork and intelligence wins championships. His words echo the importance of collaboration in sports. The fourth and final ingredient is one that adds spice to the game. I would like to give you all a hint by quoting a Scottish historian, Thomas Carlyle. Endurance is patience concentrated. Hope you know what the fourth ingredient is. Yes, it's endurance. Endurance is the ability of an athlete to sustain a long period of time of physical activity without getting tired. Patience is a 21st century skill that all of us need to know how to use. Imagine the patience you have while waiting to skip an advertisement while watching a video online. Why not this patience be prolonged and be used to achieve what we set our mind to? Through my overall research, I have understood that sports can be used as an important tool for the betterment of ourselves and our nation. So, through this, I also understood that sports have a lot of traits and they can be used to solve conflicts. In the olden days, when people lived apart from each other, they still managed to stay together as one community. But nowadays, even though we live in one building known as our apartment, we barely make time to say even a hi to our neighbors. So, why not we use the available space and foster bonds and relationships which make our bonds worth more than just a hi? With this, I would like to state the Ubuntu concept. The Ubuntu concept says that a person is a person because of other people. This highlights the interdependence that we humans have on each other. I read this story and was totally taken aback. The Best Christmas Present in the World by Michael Morpurgo has an incident in which the British and German soldiers play football in the middle of the war to celebrate Christmas. They decided to shut down the factories which manufactured weapons and increased the football productivity. So they gave this a thought. So shall we give this a thought too? To end, I would like all you sportswomen and sportsmen to rise up, put your right hand on your left shoulder, and repeat after me. I promise to play more on the ground than on the screen. I promise to play on the fields, even on sunny days. I promise to say bye to the couches that make me lazy. I promise to make teams and join hands without any differences. I promise that everyone's victory will be my victory. Thank you all. Kick not for the ball, but for your goal.